What is up, everybody? My name is Andrew, and welcome back to Space Engineers Survival 2025. This is episode number 33, and we're getting very close to the episode where we're going to be taking off and going to space, and that's in 2 episodes, so not next one, but the one after that. We'll be taking off and heading toward the unknown signal, which is up there. Actually, we haven't taken a look at where it is in a long time, but it's right here, Distressed HQ. Did that? Yeah, okay, right there. The Distressed HQ is where we're going to be going to find out what that is, and we're going to be doing that on episode number 35. But until then, or before then rather, we need to get the entire base welded up, and we also need to get our ship, which is up there, the Manta Ray, in working order. Now, right now, the Manta Ray is not in a bad state. Pretty much everything is ready. It can fly. The only thing we're missing is... well, no, I guess the railguns are done because we brought back gold. So I guess the buzzes probably came and brought the gold into here and fixed up the railguns, which means the railguns are fully operational. One thing I'm worried about with the Manta Ray is if we're going to have enough hydrogen storage. Oh, we need to actually fill this out too. That's going to require 1,000 superconductors. Ooh, yeah, that's going to be a lot. But one thing I'm worried about is if we're going to have enough hydrogen. How many hydrogen tanks do we have? We've got the 3 in there. And then, oh no, we've got 6 in there, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in there, plus 2 oxygen tanks. So what I could do is I could change out those oxygen tanks for extra hydrogen tanks. That might not be a bad idea, just to give us those extra hydrogen, because I'm a little worried that we might run out of hydrogen. The other option would, of course, be to put some external hydrogen tanks somewhere that would work. So we could always put them like up here. The problem is that hydrogen tanks are explosive. So if you put them externally, they're very easy to shoot and explode. So I don't know that I want to do that, but if we need to, we will. And of course, one other thing that we could do is we could always take a hydrogen tank like this one right here and slap it on the end right there, making that kind of the end of the Manta Ray. And that would not be a bad idea either, except for the fact that, again, these are explosive and that's not good. So I don't know, maybe we do that. We're gonna go ahead and test this guy. I don't know if we're gonna test it this episode or next episode, but we're gonna test it against one of these ships. So like a Spirit of Le Monde or something like that. And that'll give us an idea of how well the hydrogen holds up. So yeah, for now, I think let's paint it. So let's paint it to look like a Manta Ray because that is its name. And real quick, let me get an image of a Manta Ray up. Okay, so Manta Rays are a little interesting. They actually have 2 different colors. So they have a bottom color, which is usually kind of like a white or a very, very light color. And the reason for that is so that when things are under them and looking up, they kind of blend in a little bit with the sky and then, or with the top of the water, I guess, where the light's coming from. And they also have a darker color from the top. And the reason for that is the exact opposite. So when something's looking down at them, they blend in with the bottom of the ocean and stuff like that. Now, this is actually something we did last series with our AMG Snowstorm, is we did a sort of dual color design with a darker color on the top and a lighter color on the bottom. So we're gonna end up doing a very similar thing for the Manta Ray here. And we're gonna start with the color that we're gonna use on the bottom, which I think is gonna be a very, very slightly light blue color. So let's start with something like this. Or actually, we'll completely remove the light blue and we'll just go for like a very light gray color, I think. And let's start with that. Now the ship is connected to the base, but I should be able to Control Shift click that. And I do not want to use the battered armor. I'm gonna go ahead and use clean armor. I like using clean armor for new ships. And that's just gonna be the bottom right there where it's gonna kind of look very clean on the bottom. Now on the top, we're gonna go for a darker color. So the top's gonna be something closer to this. Maybe even a little darker than that. Like that, I think. And so we'll go ahead and paint the ship with this. This is gonna be a little tricky, I think. But I can use Shift to help out a little bit here. I think what's probably gonna end up happening though is I'm gonna have to use our paint gun, which does help out quite a bit. Now the paint gun is a mod in Space Engineers 1, that is. In Space Engineers 2, it's base game, or it will be when Space Engineers 2 has the survival mode. So let's go for paint gun. There it is. There's our paint gun right there. So we'll go ahead and press G. Go to character tools, bring our multi-tool. That's kind of cool. Bring our paint gun all the way down there. And what I want to do as well is throw these 2 in here and grab a hydrogen tank. There we go. Okay, so what we're gonna do is real quick, let's go to the clean skin on our paint gun and let's start painting anything that's kind of toward the top. So all this stuff right here, we're gonna go ahead and paint. So anything that's facing the top is going to get painted with the paint gun. And anything that's facing the bottom is going to remain this kind of lighter color. And we're going to add accents as well, but we'll do that after we have our base colors painted. And we'll probably paint the inside of a slightly different color as well. Okay, just run through here and paint stuff like this. And the railguns are probably going to end up being painted whatever accent color we go with. Block is damaged. How is that block damaged? I guess it didn't get fully welded. Okay, just continue painting a little bit of this, and there we go. A little bit on the back over here. If you haven't seen the paint gun before, we have used it in this series, but the paint gun excels up for blocks like this, because if you try to paint blocks like this, you can't actually paint them because all you can paint is the block that's on top, taking up this space. But with the paint gun, you can actually aim at something and paint it. And I believe you can also, if you hold right click, you can use like a super fine paint, which allows you to, oh, I can't do that one because it's damaged, which allows you to paint, you know, stuff that's really tough to reach. Like right here, for instance, if I try and paint that like that, it's just gonna paint the gun. But if I hold my right click, it'll actually, you know, it'll let me go very fine with which block I want to paint here. So yeah, there's the paint gun for you, everybody. If you haven't tried it out, it's a very good addition to any Space Engineers 1 game. Okay. All right, at this point, I think we've got most of our blocks. Now we might have painted some the wrong color down here. Actually, no, it's looking like most of this is fine. These right here, of course, there's a couple of them that are painted slightly the wrong color, but it's okay. I think that's gonna be fine. Okay, so this is our Manta Ray thus far, but a Manta Ray also has some light spots on the top as well. Usually they're spotted, so we're gonna go for a spotted design also. So we're gonna take this color, and we're gonna add a couple of spots up here. So stuff like this, maybe we'll paint this guy white. That guy's already white. I did not mean to make that one white. And I'm gonna try and keep this somewhat symmetrical so that the blocks that are white on one side will be white on the other side as well. So this is gonna look like a bit of a checkerboard design, huh? Well, that's fine. All right, I'm liking this so far. This is pretty good. Maybe a couple more spots on these over here. So we'll do, I don't know, maybe something like this. And then, all right, honestly, you know, I kind of like that. This little spotted design. So it kind of looks like a manta ray from above. And then from below, you've got this very light design right here where it kind of blends in a little bit with the sky with these light colors. Okay, so do I want an accent color on this, or am I fine with just the two colors? Because currently that's all it is, it's two colors. It's sort of a black and white ship. I think maybe I'm fine with what we have so far instead of going with another color. I think this looks good. Okay, so what I'll do real quick is I will add some accent color in the form of an orange. So let me get like something like this. Bring that right there, maybe bring that up just a tiny bit. Something like that right there would be good. So let's switch over to this, and I want to get these guys. Just because I like painting those kind of orange out. But okay, anyway, this is in a pretty good state. Let's go ahead and weld up this final block right here. So I'm going to right click it, and I know we need to build up the rest of these. What I'll do though is I'll put all my stuff back, and I'll see how many of these I can actually carry to it, so we don't build up a bunch of unnecessary things. Cannot withdraw 787, so let's go ahead and build those up then. Now, I don't know how many of those we'll be able to build up at this moment. Let me go to production here real quick. Oh gosh, okay, well, it knows that they need to be built, but we're currently missing the gold, most likely. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to wait on most of this ship stuff because we still need to wait for those superconductors to build. So they will build, it'll just take a second for them to do so. Let's go down here, replace our bottles again real quick because one of them, actually both of them were getting a little bit low. Let's put those in there, and we'll go ahead and put the paint guns in there as well for now. And let's get to work on the next thing, which is, I wanna add another one of these solar panel things. Well, actually, do we need it right now? We might not necessarily need it because I think we might have full power right here. Yeah, fully recharged. So yeah, we're good actually on these with these two solar panels. So then what I need to do is weld up this stuff. And actually, I have still not welded this stuff off camera. So the buzzes were the ones who actually did this, which is kind of nice of them. But what we need to do is we need to weld up all of this stuff here and make sure that this is in a good state. And what I want to do as well, let me grab a couple of steel plates for this. I'd like to kind of enhance that design a little bit. Remove you guys. And I want to do something like this. So instead of having it like this, let's go put a couple of these on the other side. Yeah, same over here. I think adding a couple more blocks like this is not going to hurt our design. It's actually going to make it a little bit stronger. So So just these blocks right here to complement on the other side of this would look good. Okay, so what I want to do as well is I had planned for this to kind of extend a little further. So maybe I should make that a thing. I was gonna go somewhat, you know, kind of like right there. And then maybe down from there. Let's try that on this side as well. And then down from here. And then that was gonna be our little station. Actually, yeah, let's do this design. I think this is gonna look cool. So if we bring this down one, like that, then we can do something like this. Bring it that way, bring it this way, bring it over one, same on this side, and then finally over one more, like so. And then we can do some of our favorite blocks that we've been using a lot in this series, which are gonna be these beam blocks, which I really like. And we'll go ahead and do something like this. So beam all the way down, that is going all the way down, that one. All the way down to the ground. Oh, that one's going all the way down too. All the way down to the ground here. And into the ground. Same on this side, give us a nice little beam. And that'll end up looking pretty cool. We need steel plates, of course, so let's go grab some from our steel plate dispensary. There we go. And let's get these built up. I'm an expert at launching steel plates into the ground, apparently. All right. And finally on this side, same thing. All right, there we go. And now we have a couple of supports out, which are gonna look pretty good for this thing. And I think we might need the wildebeest to help us weld up a lot of this stuff. What I'll do here is turn these around right here so that we have this coming into the ground, which will look pretty good. Kind of like this, how we have this going right here. I added one more thing on this side, like one more block out on this side, which I think looks pretty good. Just don't know how to connect it right here. Maybe, yeah, maybe that's good to kind of fill out that, whatever that is. I like that, okay. Well, this is gonna require a couple trips with the, actually, I guess just one trip with the wildebeest here. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab the wildebeest then with a bunch of steel plates in it. And actually, before we do, I wanna see what our production's doing right now, because it should be almost done with, yeah, okay, so it's done with all the other non-difficult things. The only thing it's missing is gonna be those superconductors. So the superconductors, how far can we get? Can we get any more of these done? It's at 159, so let's go ahead and try and grab a couple more. And yeah, we did build some then, if we're able to get a couple of them. Let me see how many we built. Okay, we didn't build too many of them. But 254, not bad. We're slowly but surely getting there with the jump drive, which is good. Having a jump drive is gonna be pretty darn helpful, I think. But anyway, let's go ahead and get inside the wildebeest. Actually, before we do that, let me run down here and turn off these guys because they're very loud. There we go. Okay, those are off, and for, you know, that's good. They're not gonna use our hydrogen. I would rather these things generate power rather than that. All right, so, and I still don't know what's wrong with these two. But anyway, back on the welder, let's go into our welder cargo, and let's make sure we add a bunch of steel plates. So I don't need probably too many. I'll go ahead and grab 6,000, I think, which is most of our steel plates, and I'll put the other ones up there on top of our base storage components. I really need to reorganize this a little bit. But with that, we should be good, and let's take off and start welding some stuff up. Okay, over here, we're gonna start on top of the solar tower here, and see if we can weld this entire line of stuff here, which we should be able to. We've done longer lines. Ooh, okay. I gotta be careful though, because we actually can't stay very well. We can't stay angled at this angle. It looks like we're straight, but if you look at the horizon line down at the bottom, you'll see that we're very, very angled. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should do this when the tower is actually, you know, pointing straight up. All right, there's our last one right there. And then the back side, I don't know if we want to do with this because it's gonna be a little tricky to get in there, so I might do the back ones by hand. For these ones though, I can definitely get it with the wildebeest. Let's just go up here, get these top few ones, and then we'll go down this way. I really need to paint the wildebeest, huh? I cannot believe I have not painted the wildebeest yet. I'm not gonna do these right now because I'm too close to the ground and I don't like it. We're well on our way to getting the entire base welded. We might have to go on another iron trip today, by the way. Just thinking about it. Because, actually, okay, before we do anything, yeah, we're using a lot of steel plates and we plan to weld the entire base, so we're gonna use even more steel plates. How many steel plates do I have in you real quick? 3,000. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a couple of those and we're going to do something like this because I'd like to double this up so we have a little bit more support on this thing. Everybody knows 2 blocks is better than 1. If a Reaver decides to attack and start shooting at this thing, it's gonna have a harder time destroying 2 full steel plate blocks than it will destroying just 1. Now, of course, if the Reaver decides to jet ram our base, as has happened in the past, all bets are off because Reavers are heavy ships and nothing can really stop their plummeting into us. But hopefully that doesn't happen. There we go. There's another line of those things. And now let's try and get this side right here. Now we still have a couple blocks that we need to weld. I don't think we're gonna weld everything here. We brought 6,000 steel plates, and by the time we had done one of the sides, we were already down to 3,000. So we might run out here, but that's okay because we can always weld the rest by hand if we want to. I really like the amount of hydrogen on this ship, by the way. If you guys remember last series, or if you were watching last series as well on Europa, you'll know that we had our welding ship that we had there, which was called the Barista, and the Barista welder was great. You know, I used the Barista so many times. The only problem is that it had a very low hydrogen capacity. It didn't have these 2 large hydrogen tanks. Instead, it had a bunch of small hydrogen tanks, and so that ran out quite quickly. How many steel plates do we have left, by the way? We have 1,000, then we're set. Yeah, we have 1,000, so we can probably do a bunch of these as well. I would love to get in there and get those, but I don't know that that's gonna happen. I can maybe at least get a couple of them from here, and while I'm at it, I can get some of these too. Yeah, there we go. Doing double duty right here, getting these left blocks and these right blocks at the same time. This is why I like the Weldabeest. I almost said the Barista. This is why I like the Weldabeest. The Weldabeest does good work. Okay, there we go. So we just have one more line right there of blocks that we need to weld, and I don't know that that's gonna be very easy with the Weldabeest, so we're gonna back off a little bit and let something else handle that. While we're doing that though, I'd like to come over here, because this is outside the range of our buzzes, and see if I can use the rest of our plates here on these blocks. We're just gonna climb up this and weld up some blocks as we go. So we can at least get a couple of these blocks here. I don't know what episode we built this stuff, but it was a long, long time ago. And there we go, just like that, we're out of steel plates. And we only got a couple of those through, which means 6,000 was like the exact number of steel plates I needed for that structure over there. Give or take a couple. So let's move back in to land here with our Wildebeest. We'll come in for a landing this way, I think. Doesn't really matter which way we come in. Okay. Make sure we line ourselves up. And, oh, maybe it does matter. Okay, well, let's go to this middle one then. There we go, okay. I just had to go really, really close into the ground there. So this one, unfortunately, we just bumped. We hit it. Let's go ahead and right-click that and see if we can grab the pieces for it. And of course we can, because we have lots of stuff still on the base. And there we go, all is forgiven. I'm gonna go ahead and turn you off, though, so you match the rest of the stuff. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I mean, it looks a little ridiculous because I kind of like that look. Let me grab this blue here real quick, and let me do a shift paint right there and a shift paint right there. And then I do kind of like this darker look in the middle. So maybe what we'll do is just control click all the way there, except for that last one maybe. And then, oh, I went a little too far on that side. And maybe what I'll do as well is I'll do kind of like a stripe. Like that, just maybe one stripe. And then same on this side. There we go, that's not too bad. So now we have this giant solar thing, and it's pretty much all welded up over here. As promised, I'll grab a couple of steel plates and do this part by hand. This is the easy part that we don't need too many blocks for. It's just really difficult to get the Wildebeest under here. It's a little easier just to do it by hand. All right, and with that, that is all those blocks welded. They're a little bit weirdly painted on the bottom there, but it's okay. I can work with that a little bit. All right, I think that's pretty good. And you know what? Maybe let's grab our orange color if we can, and then let's put that on here. See if we can. Yeah, now it's got like a little bit of an orange thing. I like that. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so the only thing we're missing though is one thing that I've wanted to do here, which is going to be just pretty much. What do I want to do actually? How do I want to do this? Put a block right there. I'm gonna need a bunch of construction components for this actually. So, oh, actually, maybe I can weld this up now. Let me grab that. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we have our refill station over here, which is very nice to see. so what I want to do is make sure we have nothing in our build planner. Grab me a bunch of construction components if possible. And it is possible. We have a bunch right there. And also throw me those bottles back and then give me some new hydrogen bottles. Thank you very much. And what I'm going to do over here, what I was thinking I might do at first is I might do something like this, where I just have this one right here. Let me see if I can find the one. This one right here going through the middle, and then we'd have these two on the side. But I think what I want to do instead is have it be just a very wide walkway. And I think that would look a little bit cooler. So you have this very wide walkway. You can come over here, and you can actually access the ladder as well. Oh, that looks a little strange, actually, now that it's like that. Huh. Didn't think about that. But this is going to continue all the way down, basically to the end of wherever we want this to go. And I still haven't decided. Actually, no, I guess I have decided how I want this to go. I'm just going to curve it right here and then have it continue this way. This is going to continue all the way down like this. We have a very long walkway right there. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. Flip that around like this and run this all the way down here. So let's speed that up real quick. Okay, there we go. So we have this walkway that goes all the way along this side right here, and it's going to continue this way as well. So this stuff all needs to be welded up. And do I have the steel plates for you? I bet you I do. Very nice. And we had a couple of other unwelded blocks right here too. Let me see if I can get those. Perfect. Okay. So that's going to make this walkway end up looking very nice. And then we have the bridge, of course, which I think I'm fine with the bridge being like this. I guess the only thing I might do with the bridge would be putting an OSHA railing up as well, because we do like our OSHA compliance. Oh, I forgot to add them right here, so I guess I'll have to add some right there as well. But no worries, let's just run down this and put these all the way up on the sides. And these are gonna be a pain to weld all of, but I can always put like, I don't know, 200 of these inside the Wildebeest and then just kind of go at it for a long time. Oh, hey Buzz, what's up? You looking for a job? Because I just got a bunch of these out here. If you want to go and try and weld up some of these. You taking a look at it? Seeing what kind of work this would require? I know it's a big contract, but I mean, you have bigger contracts that you haven't even touched, so it's not like you're not used to it. But anyway, yeah, any work you can do is appreciated, Buzz. Thank you very much. You guys will notice, by the way, and you probably noticed a couple episodes back, I silenced the buzzes. I know it's rude to take away their voice, but with one buzz, it was fine. Every now and then you get the beep or whatever, you know, like the R2-D2 sound. But now with like 4 buzzes flying around in a Zub, well, no longer a Zub, but we used to have a Zub, they were all making that noise with the same frequency. So I was getting, you know, all the time, just the noise from the buzzes. So I had to silence them for that. All right, with that, the bridge is fully OSHA compliant as long as you don't count that the rails aren't necessarily built up, so they're very easily breakable, but still it's at that point where it's pretty much OSHA compliant, which is very good. If I wanted to, what I could do is I could even throw an armor section on the bridge. I'd have to remove all these guys though and put them on the outside instead. Wouldn't be the worst thing, but for now I think it's gonna be okay. So let's go ahead and put that back. I want to see if I can maybe actually run through this with the Wildebeest. Are we gonna have all the blocks that we need for this? I don't know, but let's find out. Let's start by throwing everything back inside the cargo container, so we're at a nice clean slate. Perfect. Then let's hop out of here and throw the stuff that we want on our build planner. So I know that what we're gonna want is going to be a catwalk, and I know we're gonna want railings as well. So we're gonna throw catwalks and railings on there, and then we're gonna start grabbing 10s of these. So press I, go to weld cargo. Okay, and let's hold Control and then click this button. There's 10. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so we have 300 of railings and of catwalks. I think that'll be enough, but we'll find out. So let's go ahead and press number 7 and take off. So we're gonna try and weld up as much as we possibly can in here, and we're gonna start with probably these blocks down here. I think will be the easiest. So we should be able to get most of these done in one fell swoop. Gonna be nice. Oh, I guess I should have gotten the blocks that go underneath as well, because it is gonna try and weld those up. There we go. We got a nice, you know, couple of those done there. Let's try and get these ones done as well, if I can get in there. Ow, whoops, sorry. I don't know what I just destroyed, but I think I got a little too close to one of these things. All right, and with these ones right here, that's the last of those blocks. Now we did damage a couple of them, so we're gonna have to come back and do those couple of them by hand, but that's okay. It happens. Happens to the best of us. So let's run through and get these guys now. Missing one right there, but that's okay. I'll do that one by hand as well. So I will have to do a couple of touch-ups, I think, after we're done here. Okay, so far so good. I don't know how many of these there are. I counted for 300, but I'm starting to think that 300 was not enough. But either way, we're still getting through these. The problem is we still have the railings that we have to do. So I don't know how many we're gonna be able to get done. But we've got through this so far. So let's keep going, see if we can get all the way down there. I'll get these guys here real quick. Pull those. We'll see if I can get that guy. Oh, yeah, I can. Nice. Let's turn around. And then once we get these couple, we're gonna have to turn once again. But so far, so good. What I like about these is that their components aren't too heavy. Now, when we go to do the armament thing, where all of our weapons are, those components are very heavy. It's got a bunch of steel plates and a bunch of metal grids. Now, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because I think we have a lot of metal grids, or if we don't, we probably can make a bunch because they require cobalt, if I remember correctly. And we have tons of cobalt. Because that stuff's been refining since like episode 3. All right, there we go. That is all of the catwalks right there, looking good. And let's move on over to the railings. So these ones are gonna be interesting. I think I can probably weld them all up. It's just gonna take a hot minute. Ow, okay. Yep, that sounds about right. Yep, nope, that also sounds about right. Okay, what did I damage? I know that I damaged this. Yeah, okay, well, I should be able to repair it right here. No, I mean, I might be out of steel plates, but I'm definitely not out of iron. So let's go into the refinery and let's throw in iron as our main thing for a couple of these. Iron right there, iron right there. You can go ahead and do this and then work on iron, and then you work on the last bit of our iron. And in fact, you can work on the last bit of our iron. Perfect. And then work on gold once you've done all that iron. All right, so I'll fix that later. We don't necessarily need it right now. It's okay. Ow. Blowing up more stuff. It's okay. So that's just me blowing up the railings because we're using this hydrogen. This should actually look pretty cool when viewed from this angle. Check that out. Ow. Okay. It looks cool as long as I don't crash into anything. All right, anyway, let's get through these. Let's get through all these guys here real quick. We can honestly go pretty fast because we have so many welders. How fast can we go, I wonder? Let's try this. Oh, there we go. That's the speed. That's the speed. Yeah, so the one on the left starts welding them, and then the ones on the right finish up the welding process. I think we can go even faster. Oh, look at that. I think we ran out of materials. Or did we get... No, we got too far. Never mind. Ow. Okay, I'm not going in there. I'll do the rest of that by hand. All right, so that's what we got with the Wildebeest. We actually got a pretty good way in there. We got most of the railings, and we got all of the catwalks. So we did pretty well with the Wildebeest. All right, let's go ahead and land the Wildebeest in here if we can. I gotta try and guess where the landing thing is. There it is. Press number 7. Awesome. All right. So this guy still needs a couple of blocks. Let me go ahead and see if I can grab him. I can. Very nice. All fixed up and back to normal. We gotta watch out for this guy. We always manage to whack him somehow. But anyways, back over to here. I can grab a couple of these. I can weld up a couple of these. Let me try and grab a couple blocks for this stuff. Look how many we can grab. We can grab a bunch. Which is good, because these are not too hard to weld by hand. I probably could have welded the entire thing by hand, but the Wildebeest just saves a little bit of time in doing that. And there we go. Very nice. And then I don't think there were any more on this side. Let's see. Were there any on this side? I mean, there is these that I could weld. Let me try and get all the blocks for that. And for these. This one's already done. And that one's already done. I think I'm going to remove this and remove this. And then I'm gonna do the same on this side. And instead, I'm gonna put in another one of those corridors. I think it makes a little more sense in this case. Okay, corridor right there, corridor right there. It's gonna make a little more sense that way. Corridor right here, and right there, and there. All right, let's go ahead and build these up by hand. We'll right click on that guy. Same with that guy, and see, I don't mind doing things by hand. By hand, it makes it a little bit easy. You don't have to fly a ship around. You can fly at, you know, insanely fast speeds with no regard for anyone's health. It's fun to do the welding by hand. The only problem is when you have these large structures that you want to do, like all this stuff right here, where it's just a lot easier to use something like the Wildebeest. But it's okay however you want to do it, because, you know, in your own game, it's your own game. You can decide if you want to weld everything by hand, or if you want to make a massive welding ship that'll weld everything for you, or if you want to use nanites or anything like that. You can choose it for yourself. What I want to do here real quick is, do I want to try and get those? I guess I'll pick up those. Then maybe grab a couple of those. And then with that, I should be able to fill this in. This was the one area that we actually broke by accident. And then let's get those blocks in there as well. Flip these around. Right there. And beautiful. All right. That's looking pretty good. We have a couple stone on there, but it's fine. You know, sometimes it is easier to just weld some stuff by hand. When you have a cargo container like that right there, which we're gonna have to remove that cargo container, by the way, because it's currently in the way of whatever vehicle we have that might come this way. I guess it's not too much in the way, but I would rather it be kind of in here or something like that. There we go. I was able to weld quite a bit of this just by hand, just with a couple trips to the little connector there, or the cargo container there. What do we have spawning in? Oh, Reaver! We have a Reaver spawning in! Okay, you, ship, it's time to prove your worth. I don't know that we have any ammo inside the railguns. Oh gosh, how do I get on board? Right here. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's head to the cockpit. Boom. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Boom. We're up. Let's go I. Let's go rail. Nope, the railguns do not have any ammo. That's fine. So we're just gonna be kind of like flying around here, I guess. We can hardly see anything through this, but that's okay. Our weapons should be able to handle this. So let's go turret. Let me make sure that all of our turrets are set to max range. And let's go ahead and lock you whenever you get close. Now we need to stay near our base the whole time so that our base can fire back, so that we're not kind of out gunning ourselves. I really would love to have some railgun sabos in here. That would be really awesome, wouldn't it? Right here, imagine. Boom, boom, railgun sabo. But no, looks like we'll be fighting this one without the sabos. Oh, there we go, a little bit of lag. It's fine. Let's go ahead and maybe try and dodge a couple shots that it might fire at us. Yeah, we're gonna get really close to this thing. It's okay. We've got our weapons firing at it. Let's make sure that we stay a little bit close to the base. So get kind of close here. So our base is firing. So is our ship. It's okay. This is fine. This is fine. That is a big Reaver. Wow, that is a really big Reaver. I would love if our missiles would work. Actually, our missiles probably do work, honestly. You know what? Let's let this thing hover here for a second, because honestly, we're not firing anything from this. It's kind of doing its own thing. Our missiles might work, though. What's that sound? Did it crash? Oh shoot, it crashed. Okay, well we're gonna try our missiles. We're gonna try these missiles. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Turn ourselves around. Target locked with turret. Well, we're gonna go ahead and switch to this mode. Boom. Let's go ahead and switch target. Target locked. Fire. And fire again. Why not? Fire both of them. They did fire. It did fire. I think it hit. Okay, well their ship is basically down. Do we have any more missiles? Because I think I fired both of them. Let's go ahead and back up maybe. This wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's back up and see if we can connect to this thing. Because if we can, well, I don't think we can. If we could, we'd be able to arm our missiles directly from here. Either way though, the Reaver looks to be down. I think it's down for the count, so let's go ahead and turn around. Oh no, it is still firing, so let's turn so that we don't actually get hit from the back. And let's go ahead and land this guy. Okay, there we go. There's our landing right there. We are still being attacked by it, unfortunately, and we don't have a Falcon because we haven't built the Falcon back up. It still has a couple of weapons. So you know what? Let's get back inside this and let's go get a different angle on it. Because it thinks it can still take us out, but no. I've got news for it. Let's get over here. We're gonna move around to a different angle to try and take out any other weapons that might be on this thing. There we go. The Manta Ray is firing. Again, having railguns would be very nice. I probably should have prioritized building those, but it's okay. Let's check out the cameras, see what we got. Are they still firing? I think they are still firing. Well, they're pretty much down for the count anyway. I think it's sensing some sort of weapon in here. We're just gonna go ahead and land the Manta Ray back on top of the base for now. It seems like the hydrogen is fine, by the way. I know some people were expressing concern that we wouldn't have enough hydrogen for this, but it's honestly, it's okay. We don't have a crazy amount of hydrogen, and it's, I mean, we have a lot of hydrogen. We're not actually running low. Oh man, yeah, that's a big gun. Well, I turned off the Manta Ray's turrets. Let me turn off the rest of the turrets. Okay, all turrets are off. Wow, that took a long time. But anyway, we successfully took out that Reaver. What I want to do now is real quick grab myself a weapon. Let's grab one of these. One. And let's go ahead and grab ourselves a little bit of ammo. So that's going to be right here. We'll grab like 20. And let's move in on foot to see if there is anything that we need to steal from that thing. We're probably going to end up stealing everything, honestly. We're gonna remove all that stuff, but I want to see if there are any weapons, because most of our weapons are set to fire at other weapons. And there could also be some NPCs. But we need to see if there are any weapons around here anywhere. Like I was saying, it's entirely possible that there are some, and that they're through the grid, and that's what everything was trying to shoot at. Okay, we're inside. Be a little bit cautious here. Yeah, there was a weapon right there, but if there are any weapons left, they'd be on this side somewhere, because this is what the other stuff would have been shooting at. So far, so good. I'm gonna check around here. I don't see anything. Yeah, that one's taken out. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more weapons left, so I think we can probably take over this thing. So if we want to take this over, we'll have to move in and grind down that block. Now, that I'm going to move in with my weapon here real quick to see if there are any... I don't know what's in there, right? I also don't know if there are any soldiers. If there are, I think they've probably been shot by our turrets and stuff at this point. So let's move in here. And let's see if we can get into... Okay, there's a dead soldier. We can get into here. I don't see any turrets, so I think we might be okay. What are you? Just an AI control module? So we'll go ahead and hack that, and let's see if we need to hack anything else, or is this door now ours? Okay, I think that was it. I think we've conquered the grid, which is good. That means this is all ours now. We don't have to worry about anything else here. Let's go ahead and see what's inside this grid. Anything good for us? Some uranium, that's gonna be really helpful. In fact, a lot of uranium that we can use. What about on these people here? A little bit of space credits, not bad. That could go toward buying us a bigger inventory. You have an oxygen bottle, which is empty, by the way. Very good. Okay, well, this is a lot of materials that we can now use for our ship that we're building. And this is gonna require a lot of deconstructing. But it's very good. It's very good that we have that, because now we're gonna have to, of course, repair the things that damaged, which is going to be, let's see. It damaged a couple of our smaller weapons right here. It damaged a couple of our larger weapons. I don't know if it damaged any of our ships down here. It did fire one over here, and it might have destroyed, did it destroy our... No, okay, our elevator is luckily down here, just chilling. So it didn't destroy our elevator as far as I can tell, but it did fire a shot at it. And then our Manta Ray, of course, would have been very much more helpful if I had the railguns active. In fact, maybe I want to throw artillery cannon in here as well. Maybe one on this side and one on the other side. But I think it did pretty well. Hydrogen-wise, it kept up, and weapon-wise, it did some pretty good damage with the main weapons. I should be able to turn on our turrets now, and they shouldn't fire. Let me run over here real quick and do a turret. Let's do base turrets. Might fire one. It's okay. And the Manta Ray turrets, turn those on. Okay, because now that the grid's mine, there's nothing really to fire at. Okay, not bad. All right, let's go ahead and turn the Wildebeest into the Grindabeest and go over there and grind down those materials. Oh man, they have done a little bit of damage, but it looks like this thing has actually protected us a little bit from the Reaver. We had a couple shots come in right here, and this has blocked a couple of them, so very good. In fact, this might have even been damaged. Well, it was damaged a little bit, a tiny bit, but it might have been damaged more if we didn't have this little bit of protection, which is a good sign. That means that at least that did some good. Now, this took a little bit of damage because we faced off against it a little bit, but that's totally okay. All right, let me hop on over here. I want to real quick change out our bottles just so we don't run out of them. I'm going to drop everything, I think. And then let's go ahead and grab a couple new bottles here. Perfect. I'll grab a little bit of health as well, just in case. And it's time to get inside the, not the barista, I almost called it the barista again, the Wildebeest, which is gonna become the Grindabeest for this mission. All right, let's toss our grinders right here. So one right there, another one right there, and another one right there. Oops, build those up. And let's get ready to go and grind down some of that Reaver, because that's all the materials that we're gonna use to repair our base. All that stuff that he's dropped for us is what we're gonna go ahead and steal. Okay, we got plenty of hydrogen. I probably should have emptied out our inventory, actually, come to think of it, because we do have, well, it's not that bad. We don't have a crazy amount of weight to us. So let's get over here and let's start grinding down some of this stuff over here where this Reaver has fallen. Okay, this is gonna be fun. We'll start with the small little bit, I suppose. And then we'll move on to the bigger stuff. All right, Grindabeest, you have your work cut out for you, so it's time to cut out your work. Let's do it. Ooh, there goes the ship. Well, there goes some of it. Okay, we've done a lot of grinding here, and I think maybe we're halfway done at this point. I genuinely don't know. There's a lot of ship left. I don't think we're even near full on this ship here with the Wildebeest, so it can go for quite a while. And so far we haven't broken anything, which is a good sign. Usually I end up breaking something pretty quickly on the ship. All right, I think this is a good point to return to base. The ship is still flying, but it's very, very weighted. So we're finding it a little tough to stay afloat, especially if we tilt left or right. You can see the red bar down below shows that the ship is probably 85% full, so we could have gotten maybe a little bit more, but I think it's fine to just go back with this amount. I'm gonna go back on foot as well and see what else we have there. Let's actually fly up here a little bit. Oh, sorry, Buzz, I don't want to run into you. And let's fly into here as well. And I actually want to see before we land, because how much, okay, we have 22% hydrogen left. Before we land, I want to see what kind of stuff we got. Just looking at the steel plates, we got 700 plus 2,000 plus 2,000, so that's 4,000, call it 5,000. We got about 5,000 steel plates, plus additional, materials everywhere, lots of ice even from the O2H2 generator. So not bad at all. Let's go ahead and land here, and let's see if we can actually find the connection. There it is. Okay, let's press number 7. And I want to go into my inventory here, and I want to go into my stuff that's only on this ship. We'll go ahead and hide empty, and then I'm going to throw everything that I possibly can into there. So it'll take a couple clicks, of course, but we're just going to put everything into there that we possibly can. Double click the ice so it goes a little quicker. Same with all this stuff, so that there will be nothing remaining on this ship except for stuff that we need. Like, I'm fine having the O2H2 generator stuff. That stuff's okay. Although, maybe I don't need this many of those. But anyway, there we go. Let's let this sit here for a second. What I want to do is run over just with my jetpack and see what we have in some of those containers. Because I know there were a couple of containers that fell. Yeah, these ones right here. And ice, I'm not too worried about if it's ice. But I am worried more if we have stuff like uranium that we find. Which, if we remember, we did spot a little bit of uranium in some of these. So I'm going to get the ones that have uranium in there. And also ammo as well. Those would be good. That does take up most of my inventory though, so it'll maybe take me a couple trips, But what I could do is I could toss this stuff inside a cargo container. Just kidding, there are no cargo containers. Okay, well, we'll just go and bring this back here real quick. No worries at all. So let's put this back inside this cargo container. And maybe I'll do one more trip on... No, actually, why go on foot? Might as well just take the wildebeest back as well. And then we can leave it floating there for a second if we want to explore by foot. So let's press number 7. And we're gonna go straight out right here. Out, and let's go around to the left. How about that? That's an easy way to get out of there. And let's go see if we can mine, well, grind, I guess, the rest of this stuff. There's not too much more of it left. We did get a bunch of it. Although I do think we probably only got about half of it. But I'm gonna real quick check to see if there are any more containers that I want to grab from. So stuff like this one right here that had that ammo. And then you were ice, I believe. But anything else that might have, like that probably has some uranium in it when it finally pops out. But everything else should be good. So let's try and get this stuff before the sun goes down, because it's gonna become a lot harder once it does. I can always do by hand stuff, but the problem is, let's see. Oh, shoot. Okay, that was risky. The problem is I can only do so much, and then I have to go back to the ship and throw stuff inside the cargo there. And I don't know. I don't know if it's faster. I don't think it is. This welder does go quite fast, and I do wish the ship's welder was a little bit faster as well. But it is what it is, I guess. You know what? It might actually be faster for the steel plates because I don't need to actually go back to the cargo very often. But for things like this right here, that would definitely be faster inside the wildebeest. So let's hop on the wildebeest and get some of that stuff there on the side. And we'll continue on our mission here. Okay, there's a gravity generator. So that right there is definitely beneficial for grinding with the ship instead of by hand, because it's very heavy. It's got a lot of stuff on it that I can't carry. And then, yeah, these components as well. Same thing. And if I can get multiple blocks at once, I think it also may make the ship faster than by hand. But, I mean, otherwise, you know, going by hand, really, you can go through this pretty darn quickly. There's a guy right here. Let's see, does he have anything for us? I don't think so. I think even for stuff like those thrusters, it might be faster to weld or to grind by hand.
Inventory full.
Like, sure, we're gonna drop some stuff every now and then when we do it, but like, look how fast we get through this stuff. You know what? Maybe the wildebeest, I don't know. I really wish there was like a level 2 welder and grinder that you could put on top of ships. Oh, because that seems to be our big limitation here. And I know there are mods for that you can add that do add stuff like that. Increased level welders and grinders. And in fact, maybe I'll add one of those in one of my playthroughs. I don't know. Probably not this one. All right, we got most of the stuff. We just have a little bit more, so I'm just gonna back off a little bit and sit right here and then go and grind a couple of these by hand. And then I'll be able to check some of these as well to make sure that we have all the stuff that we want from these. So yeah, this stuff is a little quicker to weld or to grind by hand than it is to grind with the weldebeest, the grindabeest, I guess in this case. All right, there we go. Those are all of those pieces. Now there's a couple of, you know, random containers right here, which I don't know if I can grind them. Yeah, I can grind them down if I don't want them. So if they're ice, I'm just gonna grind them down because I mean, we're on a lake of ice, right? We have thousands of ice over on our ice factory. So we don't necessarily care if there's random ice sitting around here. I will happily take these scrap metals though, because these can be converted into steel plates and iron. All right, I think I have everything that I want. There might be another scrap metal down here that I don't see. There's certainly a couple of them around here. But I think with that, I don't know what you are. I think with that, I've got everything that I need. Just doing a quick look to see if there's any scrap metals, but nope, I think we might be good. All right, let's hop inside the wildebeest here. Let's take it back, and that's another load of materials. This time we got, how much? Almost 2,000 right there, another 1,000 right there, another 1,000 right there. So yeah, like 4,000 or 5,000 more steel plates. Very good. These will help us out with rebuilding the stuff on our base that the Reavers happily fired missiles at. So let's bring the wildebeest back over to its landing pad location over here. And let's go ahead and land it. And as the sun's coming down, I think this is a pretty good place to end this episode as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do that as soon as we land this thing. Not a crazy episode, but I think probably a necessary one with getting a lot of blocks welded that we needed to weld up. We had a Reaver attack where we were able to somewhat test our Manta Ray. The Manta Ray, I think, performed pretty well. Now, the Manta Ray didn't have access to its railguns, which would have helped out a lot, However, it did have, we were able to test the thrusters and the hydrogen usage, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. Honestly, we didn't go through a crazy amount of our hydrogen, and we were kind of floating there on Earth's surface for a little while. So I think this is pretty good. But anyway, with that, that's gonna be the end of this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. We're getting closer and closer to episode 35, where we'll be taking off in the Manta Ray, heading for that right there, the Distressed HQ, to find out what that is and what we can do to maybe help out whoever's up there. And yeah, so look forward to that one. And if you enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and hit the like button, put your comments and your suggestions down below in the comments section. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click the subscribe button if you want notifications for when videos go live and stuff like that. If you wanted to become a YouTube member or a patron, there are links below in the description for both of those, where you can get your name in the end credits, you can get early access to videos, and you can even, in some cases, get a shout out. So for the tiers that get shout outs, we're gonna shout out Harlequin Johnson, Iron Helix, and Heretical John. Thank you very much for your support, and thanks everybody who's watching these for your support as well. It means a lot, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Space Engineers. What's up, Buzz? Survival.